I've decoded life in the States as we know it. I mean, let's face it. It was school that bamboozled us from the start. It was school that told us that we needed to know what 3.14 meant, or else. It was school and some of our parents who told us we needed to get multiple degrees to be somebody. Yet there's still jobs out here requiring bachelors and paying $35,000 a year. The system we live in intentionally sabotages its own people. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This Can I Be Earnest, back with another video. Trying to enjoy this beautiful spring afternoon. I've been doing some thinking, and this is kind of piggybacking off of one of the most recent videos of how the system is completely broken. This is along the lines of just feeling like we've been sabotaged. What are you talking about? Well, I'll tell you. Somebody recently wished me a happy Pi Day. I was kind of puzzled by that. Pi Day. Apple pie, sweet potato pie, bean pie. I love all those pies. But that's not what they meant. They were referring to 314. And it made me think, 314. Okay, I haven't been in school in, 25 years or so. 314, what is this about? Then it hit me. Pi, 3.14, that equals pi. And I remember learning it back in high school sometime. And I have yet to apply it to my real life. So it made me think when I was making this video, all the things that we were taught in school. It starts in school, number one. Feeling like the system intentionally sabotages us. There's a lot of life lessons we don't learn in school. When we're at those formidable ages, the high school ages, maybe even elementary school, where you start to retain knowledge and understand things. We were taught that 314 equals pi and all these silly trigonometry and geometry formulas that only benefit those who specialize in that field. So if you want to grow up to become a mathematician or a math teacher or some type of scientist, cool. So I thought, I was like, it's unfortunate that this is how it starts. It starts young, which is why I understand the reasoning behind people wanting to homeschool their kids, because you don't get a lot of gems in school. So that's number one. Then as you become older, you start looking at the situations right now. They give us technology advancement. So with all the technology advancement, we all know it's a gift and a curse. Technology has been nothing short of brilliant, but at the same time, it backfires. We sit back and we wonder why we don't see kids on the playgrounds anymore. It's not because it's any more dangerous now than it was 30 years ago, but it's because they gave us these addictive technologies. You can do the research on the addiction behind smartphones and social media, but that's the reason. So it's strange because on one hand, we complain about the lack of children being outdoors, right? But yet again, we introduce these addictive technologies. So what is one to do? And then we have social media. We're all aware of the damage it's done. We don't have to beat a dead horse. Yes, many have flourished, and we've seen a significant decline in society. But we think about the algorithm. The algorithm puts a lot of content creators in a weird predicament because typically the algorithm highlights a lot of questionable activity, whether it's some strange trend or girls twerking or whatever it is. It encourages weird behavior because look what happens. It creates a domino effect. So everyone wants to ride the wave. This person got 50,000 views by doing this challenge. Oh, I'm going to do this challenge. This chick has 1 million followers because she twerks. Oh, I'm going to twerk. It becomes a monkey see, monkey do society. The system intentionally sabotages us. So that's not saying you can't create your own type of content and just hope for the best. You can absolutely do that. There's many of us who just do our own thing and just, we're comfortable in that lane. But when you see one's rise from nothing to something, all because they were doing something that you would have never thought otherwise to do, it makes you at least entertain the idea of jumping on the bandwagon. I think about the stock market. I think about the rigging of the stock market every decade. where it creates this market crash and everyone starts panicking. Remember a few years ago, people were buying this AMC stock. AMC's been around forever. There was some inside trading going on. Next thing you know, everybody was purchasing AMC stock and the stock just went through the roof. The manipulation in the stock market, the manipulation of people's, retirement funds. It's the system intentionally sabotaging its people. Think about music and fashion. Music typically rides a wave, especially these days. There was a time where certain sounds of music were only regional. For example, if you heard like a Dr. Dre song, you knew that was the sound of the West Coast. So there was no one down south or no one on the East trying to emulate that sound. But then we fast forward to now where pretty much every region sounds the same. It's that tickety-tick sound that's been going on for the last 10 years. You know the sound I'm talking about. And what happens? One or two artists blow up using that sound. They start showcasing their riches, whether it's jewelry, whether it's cars, homes, women, and then the next up-and-coming musician wants that sound. I want to do the same thing that this person did because I can amass the same amount of riches. It's the system intentionally sabotaging its people because you should be able to create your own sound in music. And as long as it's good, you should be able to get the same notoriety as Joe Blow, who's mumbling. But the system sabotages us. So now if you're an up-and-coming artist, you're struggling. You got talent out the ass. You can play 5 instruments. You can have great singing ability, great rapping ability, and you'll be lucky to get a few thousand followers. You're almost begging people to come to your page and like your videos and whatever you have to do to just get heard, get the algorithms working. It's the system sabotaging us. Think about fashion. Have we seen some of the styles now? The urban fashion? It's amazing how fashion recycles itself. Once upon a time, you couldn't be seen wearing, skinny jeans in the 90s, mid to late 90s. It was just forbidden. And then there was that rise of skinny jeans in the, 2010s or whatever it was. Now we're back to baggy pants. I refuse to go back in time, but have at it if that's what you want to do. Now you're seeing these guys with these oversized sweaters and bell-bottom looking sweatpants. And you got guys like Pharrell from the Neptunes, who now is wearing, take a look for yourself. That's not the same Pharrell from the Star Trek days. The same Pharrell in those Clips videos. The same Pharrell doing the Justin Timberlake beats. That's not the same guy, is it? It's the system manipulating its people. Because now you have a notable face, dressing sassy, and there's someone out here who thinks that's cool. There's someone out here who thinks that's fashion. And it's going to create a domino effect. You see a face like Pharrell, you remember him. He has his own line on Louis Vuitton. And this is how he decides to model clothes. It will create a domino effect. And in essence, sabotage people. Think about foods. All the foods we have. All the cancer scares involved with these foods, leading to being on meds for the rest of your life. Why create these kind of foods in the first place? Population control? I mean, people are going to die anyway. Is the population growing faster than food being produced? I mean, I'm confused. Why do we have so many bad foods on the market? I get it. The more people sick, the more people relying on meds. I totally understand the strategy. But again, it goes along with my point. It's the system sabotaging its people. And last but not least, let's think about the court system. The court system, family court in particular, has been in ruins for a long time. At least here in the States. Think about the child support system and how that works. Every 2 weeks, a judge being able to dictate your wages. And a lot of the times, the child doesn't see the money. Maybe the money helps the other parent in supporting the child, whether it's paying rent or whatever the case is. But a lot of times we know the wages aren't warranted. They're not. And the system pits one parent against the other. If you go that route, obviously you can be two mature adults and come up with an arrangement for your kids. But once you go the court route, you have the system dictating what comes out of your wallet. It creates resentment for the other parent, maybe even resentment towards the child. And it's the system sabotaging its people. It's as plain as day. I've decoded life in the States as we know it. I've decoded it just by paying attention. From being a snot-nosed kid in elementary school to being a guy in his 40s who finally had his awakening. If you aren't strong-minded and aren't observant of how this game goes, you will succumb to the pressures of everything I've listed today. So in conclusion, can we really get on the kids if the system has set up these addictive devices? Can we really get on people for quitting their jobs and becoming full-time content creators when the content creator gets rewarded for doing things that was taboo years ago? If we can see somebody making millions of dollars sitting in front of their television playing video games, the system, the capitalist system, rewards athletes. It's why a lot of people in urban communities don't strive to become doctors and lawyers. When we watch NBA players and baseball players making hundreds of millions of dollars, the system rewards certain behaviors, certain activities. The algorithm at times rewards questionable behaviors. The foods work hand in hand with big pharma. Certain entertainers work hand in hand with these brands, these fashion brands, to promote a certain style that has an effect on the youth. It all makes sense. So the key to this video is paying attention, understanding what you're up against, and if you're raising children, keep them far away from the activities that I've listed. If they're in school and they're learning a curriculum, give them extra learning. But as a parent, you've got to do your due diligence. You've got to be book smart and supply your children with the additional information so that when they get older, they don't think they really need to know what 3.14 is, or if x squared over y equals 1 over 1/4. Who the hell knows? All of that is irrelevant. The system set us up to fail rather than teach us about credit in 8th grade. The importance of it, the importance of staying out of debt, basic stuff. So I just wanted to make a video about this. It was on my mind, and I'm hoping it can help others, open up that third eye. Just wake up, pay attention. The system's not for you. It works against you. You just have to outsmart it. Be diligent and you can avoid that mousetrap.